Maureen?
Do I have any nominations for a moderator?
Nominate Mayor Bass.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Okay, motion carried.
Thank you, Noreen. And tonight we have our special town meeting. And a special town meeting, this was in the paper. Special town meeting, the electors and citizens qualified to vote in the town meetings of the town of New Milford, Connecticut, will be held in the E. Paul Martin Room, 10 Main Street, on Monday, July 8th, 6:30 p.m. for the following purpose. 1, to discuss and consider a resolution. A, to appropriate $5 million for costs related to the expansion and renovation of Lanesville Fire Station. Contemplated to consist of renovating approximately 5,940 square feet of the existing fire station and expansion of approximately 8,250 square feet, titled The Project. The appropriation may be spent for surveying, design, construction, installation costs, material, plumbing, bathroom costs, lighting, equipment, furniture and fixtures, consultant and engineering fees, demolition and removal of existing materials, landscaping, construction management, grant application and management costs, legal fees, net interest on borrowings and other financing costs, and other expenses related to the project. B, to authorize the issuance of bonds or notes in the amount not to exceed $5 million, to authorize an issue of temporary notes of the town in the amount not to exceed $5 million in anticipation of such bonds or notes, and to authorize the mayor and the director of finance to determine the amounts, dates, interest dates, maturities, redemption provisions, form and other details of the bonds or notes, and to perform all other acts which are necessary or appropriate to issue the bonds or notes, and to perform all other acts which are necessary or appropriate to the issue the bonds or notes. C, to take such action to allow temporary advances of available funds in which the town reasonably expects or will be reimbursed from the proceeds of the borrowings, and to authorize the mayor and the director of finance to bind the town pursuant to such representations and covenants as they deem necessary or advisable in order to maintain the continued exemption from federal income taxation of interest on bonds or notes authorized by the resolution of the issued on a tax-exempt basis, including covenants to pay rebates of investment earnings to the United States in future years. D, to authorize the mayor and director of finance to make representations and to enter into written agreements for the benefit of the holders of the bonds or notes to provide secondary market disclosure information, which agreements may include such terms as they deem advisable or appropriate in order to comply with applicable laws or rules pertaining to the sale or purchase of such bonds or notes. E, to authorize the mayor and other proper officers and officials of the town to apply for and accept federal and state grants to help finance the appropriation of the project. F, to authorize the mayor, the director of finance, and other proper officers and officials of the town to take all other action which is necessary or desirable to complete the project and to issue bonds or notes and obtain grants to finance the aforesaid appropriation. Dated at New Milford, this 28th day of June 2024. Sal, do we have any public comment?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Mark Tabor.
Just when you come up, if you could state your name and address for the record, please.
Sure, Mark Haber, 40 Carbon Hill Road, New Milford, Carbon Hill 1. I am also the building facility chairman for the Water Control Company. I just wanted to give a quick update of where we are since we've talked back in February. We have now gone through all of the steps to get to this point. We've met with the Planning Commission, we've met with the Municipal Building Committee, we've met with the Board of Finance, we've met with the Town Council. Our own committee has met several times. This is a project that's been in the works for 11 years. We have drawings back to 2013, minutes back to when this was a committee. Yep.
Can you just repeat that for the camera? And those are in the audience again. When did this start?
This started back in 2013.
2000.
This started well before I was even a member of this department.
And the reason why I bring up, Mark, is we have miscommunication and misinformation.
Yep.
Happens
Nope.
all the time, right?
No, it's
Some people think this just started like last week.
no. This started back in 2013. We've actually lost 3 of our members who have been on this committee. who have passed away since this is formed, who were key parts. I can't thank the Lanesville trustees who have pushed this along as well and have stayed invigorated through this whole part. We really gave it a swift kick in the butt in the last 18 to 24 months. And, you know, we're just looking for the support of the town to move forward, to move this project forward as a need for the community and all the members of it. So just want to thank everybody, and I want to thank the town for their continued support of this and the guidance of what we've needed for steps moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Sal?
Mr. Pill?
Good evening, Tom Pilla, 19 Hillcrest Drive. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council, staff, and all the members of the public and our great volunteers. This project is long overdue, and under your tutelage, Mayor, the support of this council, the Board of Finance, and the Planning Commission, it's finally coming to fruition. The town's great bond rating, credit rating, makes bonding a little easier for the community. We've been very fortunate as a community to have the volunteer firefighters. I've lived here nearly 55 years, and former and present firefighters have saved the lives of the citizens of our community. We're grateful to them. And whatever we could do to make it better, to continue to make New Milford the greatest town it is to support this project and the bonding to get this facility up and running. Long overdue, and I want to thank all of you for support. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the end of the list.
Okay. Do we have any other comments from the public who would like to come up during public participation?
Anybody in the hallway that can't hear would like to speak?
Okay. Next, I'd like to invite up the chief and Sean. And if we could, if you guys could kind of give an overview to the public of what this is going to be, kind of where we've gotten.
So the actual expansion of Lanesville Firehouse has started off as
Sean,
Yep.
for the record, again, your name and address.
Sean Delaney, 31 Wellsville Avenue.
Sorry, go ahead.
So the expansion of Lanesville started years back with the trustees who had the foresight, just like the actual founding members of the actual chiefs that established Lanesville back in the early 80s. They had the foresight to understand the development of this community. And they had the foresight to understand that with the growing population, the growing development of the south end of town, and New Milford as a whole, that we needed a second area. We needed a second area to keep our apparatus. This project, as many of you have who actually attended the open house and walked through and actually saw how we are doing what we are doing in that facility right now, understand that we need more space. Mr. Mayor, I can promise you that we're not going to turn around and come to this council and ask for more money for more apparatus to fill the bays. They're already filled at this point. For everybody that sits on the town council and for everybody that's here, that is a falsity. We can't turn around and just willy-nilly start writing $1 million checks for apparatus. Those are a capital expenditure plan that is approved by 3 chiefs in this town on an annual basis with 30 years worth of planning. We're already planned out almost 30 years on that plan. That's not something that we can just turn around and say, hey, you know what, we need another $1 million. We got an empty bay over here. It doesn't happen, okay? Just turn around and say that, oh, we're doing this just because of Lanesville. It's not just because of Lanesville. Take a look all over town. Town is expanding. The members had the foresight 25, 30 years ago to then turn around and renovate again Lanesville to make it even bigger. Now we're at that point where we're busting at the seams. We're stacked up, double stacked, triple stacked. There's no room down there, okay? That's where we're expanding. So, Mr. Mayor, I asked you, I asked the town council, I asked the members here who are supporting us tonight. We need help. Every time everybody asks for it, I've been at a lot of houses here. I know what happens in this town. I don't want to be up here a couple of years from now saying, hey guys, I need more money. Because we kick this can farther down the road, we're going to need more money. God bless the 3 trustees who have had the door slammed in their face for 14 years. How many of you would volunteer your time to get told no for 14 years? Those guys have. And they keep pushing it. And that's why we're here tonight. This is the farthest we've ever made. So I ask for your support.
And Sean, just, because there's a lot of misinformation, the how can I put it? The people that think they know the fire
Yep.
departments, when you guys came to see me, I mean, we're going off of the experience of
Yep.
our firemen. But
Well, we
some people think they're firemen, but they never put on a code or
Yeah. Well, we worked with Silver Petrocelli a number of years ago, and they actually came up with a quote for us that was $3.1 million. Okay, that was back in 2017. 2017. Fast forward through COVID, and we put this program on pause during COVID because there were so many uncertainties. Everybody wants a study. What do studies do? Studies create more money to the taxpayer. You want a study? We just had a study a year ago. Our ISO rating, the highest level in Insurance Standards Organization, said that this town has an ISO rating of 3. We are only 1,500 towns in the country that meet that criteria. 1,500 towns in the country. That is training, that is apparatus, that is hydrants, water supply, SOGs, communications, fire prevention. That is the highest level that a volunteer fire department can get. We're doing this. We're making this happen. And we're not asking the taxpayers for that much money on a yearly basis.
And Sean, just because there's a lot of conjecture out, people are basing your, really decision that came to the town council, who I believe unanimously approved it. I know Board of Finance
We've had
unanimously
unanimous
approved it.
consent, Mr. Mayor, for everything.
Yep. So-
Unanimous consent on this floor twice. We've had unanimous consent with the Board of Finance, unanimous consent and a full push with the Municipal Building Committee and their full support. The Planning Commission all said, yes, this is what we need to do to move forward.
So some people are conjecturing that this all investment is due to one project that's on Pickett District Road. And I know you came before us, and just so those that are watching here tonight on video, and then those that are here in person, when you came before the town council and you came to my office, you had a whole data set of why you're doing it. Just
Why?
it doesn't have to be for one
Take a
project.
look around. Drive down any street. Drive down past the police department, past Route 7. Route 7 is expanding exponentially. We've taken Main Street and we've moved it.
When we started this project 13 years ago, it was still a single lane each direction. Now it's a 4-lane highway. So our response time takes longer, get out in traffic for one. Our apparatus is scattered down there, so if we need a boat, we have to move stuff, we have to back up, and that delays our time to get it on the road. I mean, there's so many reasons for this expansion.
And Chief,
Kurt, can you just for the record say your name and address?
Kurt Elsesser, 45 Bear Hill Road.
And Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, is again, I'm not a fireman, but I would think the bigger the building, the more equipment and the more manpower you would need. Is that correct? Is that a correct statement?
100%. And plus, I want our personnel not to sleep in between the apparatus.
Yep.
If we're sleeping at the quarters all night from a storm, I want them to actually have quarters to actually maybe be comfortable. Right now, we don't have a kitchen. We have tiny, tiny little bathroom that's 1980 when it was built. So there's so much that has to be upgraded in that building.
And with all the-
unfortunately, the cost of
And Chief, with all the
living
great
has gone up.
renovation that's done around the lake, people have come up and property values are skyrocketing because of the new investment, but the homes are larger, more complex. And I know if we want to protect that investment, especially in those areas, which are now south, across the river, I know you guys have pointed that out to me specifically, that, we need to make sure if people are investing, we need to make sure we can protect that investment.
Correct. 100%.
With all insurance ratings and with all insurance companies, and we've dealt with this for many people in this room tonight, insurance companies want to know where the nearest and closest fire department is. They want to know where the firehouse is, they want to know where the fire hydrant is, they want to know where the people are coming from and how they're coming. We can't turn this around and say, oh yeah, we're only going to be at the headquarters. The other fact is, Mr. Mayor, just like you said, not only did Candlewood Lake change in the scope, but they changed into full-time residents. They're here all the time. We had a mass exodus during COVID. The people that were retiring left their house with 2 people, and now we have 4, 5, and 6 people coming into each and every residence. You take and you look at it all the time. When we're out on calls, we're asking them, hey, last night I asked them, hey, where are you from? Oh, we're from the Bronx. We moved up. Got 4 kids. Oh, wow. You know, every time we are expanding, and we need to capture that expansion. We need to be ready for it, because if not, we're going to turn around and we're going to come back and we're going to say, hey, we're not ready for it. We prepare, every single one of us. We train, we prepare, we look forward. If I was going to tell you what I was doing tomorrow without planning for it, I'm a failure. I'm already looking 2 and 3 years down the road. Okay? So this is what we need to do. We've tracked, we've done the study. Brookfield was at 700 calls a couple of years ago. They're at 1,200 now. There's no stopping it. There's no stopping it. It's going to happen no matter what.
And we're pushing almost 800 calls now. That's a lot of calls.
22,000 hours last year. That's how much our volunteers did for calls, training, public events, public relations. 22,000 hours.
And stress that it is all volunteers.
All volunteers, 100%.
And if we were to have not enough volunteers, it would be quite a cost for the town.
We are the 2nd largest department in Litchfield County. I sit as a vice president of Litchfield County Chiefs Emergency Plan. The only one left that does more calls than New Milford is Torrington. And Torrington is a fully paid department. Okay? So,
Fully paid.
Fully paid.
Yeah, just want to make sure.
And when you go to any meeting, you go to any orientation or anything else, the first thing that everybody talks about is how do we get new volunteers? How do we recruit? How do we do this? We have been very lucky in this town. We put on new recruits. We make it happen. We have new recruits right now that are in this room. They're coming up. They're saying that we need to do better.
They're
And we
pretty
need to
awesome.
protect.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Tom, absolutely.
Is there anybody in this room that's against this?
Move the vote.
I don't know what, there have been certain years we finally got silence
Doug?
from the other side. There's nobody here. Anybody? Anybody going to vote against this? Anybody?
Say anything out loud.
Doug?
They should come here and speak if they're not happy.
Well, I like to thank.
They're on social media.
I'd like to thank the gentlemen and the women who were both volunteers in this great town of New Milford. I personally had a situation that happened to me, and unfortunately, my house was burned down, but the firemen that came and the women that came, and the support of all the fire departments in this town, should be very grateful. And again, I'll reiterate, as Katie said, these are volunteers. And this is not a lot anymore, this is the need. As Sean had mentioned, the town has grown. And 2013, 11 years ago, the cost would have probably been a third less. And if we wait any longer, it's going to go up even more. So they have my support. So I'm thankful for all of you for coming tonight.
Chris?
Yeah, I want to echo what Doug is saying. And, you know, some people might think this is the mayor's project or council's project. Nothing could be further from the truth. These firemen and women have put together a good plan. As we said, they've been working on it for years and years. They brought data before our council that showed the need. We looked at the cost. We asked questions about the cost. Some of us went to the open house to see why the cost of the site work, for example, was so high. And that was explained very well. You know, this is something that is long overdue because time we give our volunteer men and women the facilities they need to do their job because they do it really well. And the time is right. Let's do it now. Let's do it tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm totally in support of the project. I was when we voted, and it had everything to do with the presentation and the data we presented. Because I was born and raised I've got 70 years in this town, so I've watched it grow. And it's worrisome to me, the rate of growth. But when I look at the 2 schools that are at that end of town and what they could possibly need, the lake right over the hill, there are lots of really important reasons to support this project. And you did a very good job of helping us understand where you are now and what you need to have. I'm also going to say that it is very difficult to come to these meetings if you don't agree with the majority at this table and say you don't agree. Democracy means we should be able to have a conversation about these things, whether we agree or not. It's not safe in this room. Look at the room. It is not safe in this room for people to have an opinion that differs from the majority sitting at this table, and it happens almost every meeting. Mr. Mayor.
Alex, I disagree with you. Does anybody in this room feel unsafe? I mean, I'm not challenging you, let me not say it too
But
rough.
I can answer that question, Katie?
I think so.
Each one would express
Alex, we've
itself.
had lots of people tell us that they're not happy. We hear it all the time.
Most of the people that show up here actually speak up. It's the people who are afraid to don't come. But the people who don't come have the courage to speak up and speak their mind. And I think
right.
everybody listens to that.
about the firehouse?
It absolutely is, Rick. It
Yeah.
absolutely is. I'm not talking about...
somewhere else. This isn't about the firehouse. Thank
But I didn't open this window. I didn't ask the audience their opinion. I didn't bring that up.
So,
What's wrong with us?
I did. Sorry.
so this is town meeting, yep.
Right?
So I'm going to entertain a motion
That's what I want to do.
to approve in totality 1A, B, C, D, E, and F that I wrote into the public.
Second. So moved.
And do we have any further discussion on this motion? All those in favor, and that includes those in the audience. All in favor? Aye. Do we have any opposed? Any abstentions?
Thank you.
Motion carries.
Congratulations.
Thank you, everybody. All right. And yes, we have a motion to adjourn. We have a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you, everyone. Our regular town council meeting starts at